own nothing and you will be happy about it. That is what is echoed throughout the halls of Nintendo. It's their so-called hippie mantra, where here's my mantra: if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Yeah, I know, how original. I feel like we all knew something like this was bound to happen. We just didn't know when. But there is a real sinister aspect to this whole thing that nobody's really talking about. But before we get to that, hit the like button, folks. We are doing really good with the subscribers too. That is absolutely brilliant. See, people like me don't really exist on YouTube. There's so many corporate shills out of the ass. A lot of these people don't have the balls to call these people out, because at the end of the day, they are just part of the access media. Well, I'm not like them. Them. And give me a follow on Twitter. Now, it's very important to mention that Nintendo's heart stopped beating when Iwata passed away, because now they are nothing more than a soulless master of weaponized nostalgia. You know what I love to see? I love to see people joining in the consumerism fatigue. It means people are tired of being taken advantage of. The dumbest slap in the face, my goodness, is the fact is that there is no OLED on the Switch 2, and we all know why. Because they could have added it no problem, but they wanted to wait 6 months to sell you a variant for $700. You just know that the Switch 2 variant is coming out within the year. I mean, come on. Because if only Nintendo would put the same amount of effort they put into hating their own fans and instead started making good hardware, then we wouldn't be where we are. Nintendo's hatred for their own fans is truly perplexing. Because if you don't remember, I need to remind everybody that Nintendo maliciously amended their own patent some months after Power World released to make sure that Power World perfectly infringed on their patent so that they can file a completely stupid, frivolous lawsuit. The thing is, all of this is worth it for Nintendo because they know they can milk their fans with any kind of price tag and yet still have the zealots playing defense for them as if their life depended on it. See, when you buy a video game for $80 on the Switch 2, which was $28 on Steam just yesterday, and then you go online to find any reason to justify it, you are, my friend, absolutely brain dead. Like I said, it's very fun to see the younger generation realize that corporations don't give a about them. Now, I must say that Reggie made the Wii a raging success because bundling Wii Sports with the console was the secret sauce, the secret weapon. Because if he had made Wii Sports a separate purchase, it would have sold 25% of the console that they inevitably did. Because when most people think about the Wii, the first thing they think about is Wii Sports. That is a stroke of genius by the old guard. Say what you want about Reggie, but he actually gave a about the gamers. Anyway, when I thought that this whole thing couldn't get more pathetic, we have reached a new tier of anti-consumerism. Nintendo has gone as far as to call the FBI, but you already knew that that's old news. But the thing to remember is that them going to the FBI is basically the company on the verge of defeat against the gamers. Because this video is going to be a little different. We're going to go a little bit more into the political side because how can I not? This disaster keeps taking new left turns. See, Nintendo is a law firm masquerading as a video game company, because if there was ever a reason for gamers to come together and start exposing them for their actions, then this is the time. But they will eventually learn, because what the FBI is doing here is wasting taxpayer money and resources. It's nice to know that taxpayers' money is finally going where it's needed to the most, harassing people who can't buy video games. And of course the irony is in front of everybody's faces. There's so much things going on with the American government as we speak. So much actual predator, disgusting stuff, but for some reason they have the time and money to spare to investigate people copying video games. Oh my goodness. This is actual corruption, and it pretty much confirms that the FBI needs to be completely disbanded. Because imagine you're in jail or you're in prison and then somebody asks you what you're there for and you say, oh, I stole an Atari 2600 ROM. Meanwhile, all the names list aren't even being released, let alone spending a second in jail. Their priorities are so just locked down straight. If you bought a Switch 2, you should be feeling dirtier and dirtier every day by supporting Nintendo. Now, Nintendo's piracy sites are abruptly taken down by the FBI. Nintendo Switch piracy sites that were well known for ROM downloads are no longer accessible as the FBI has stepped in. Oh my god, bravo. You guys are just serving the people like like other platforms and consoles, piracy is a never-ending issue Nintendo has to deal with in the gaming industry. Though since the Nintendo Switch 2 was released, it's clear that the company has no fucking idea what they're doing. I mean, the company has been doubling down in efforts to combat this problem, with many reporting that the original Switch units with pirated games have been permanently banned just last month. Now, NSW2, one of the most popular sites players often use to download Switch 2 ROMs, is gone. Technically, the domain can still be seen on Google, just don't expect to be directed to its usual homepage when you access it. Oh my god, wow, you guys are such badasses. See, my problem with shutting down piracy is that locking the content away in a stash in some kind of vault and never letting anybody see it is completely unacceptable. If you provided a reasonable way to get the content from the company who made it, then people won't have to pirate it. It's that simple. It's very clearly a service issue. Piracy should be legal under the circumstances that you are backing up games that you already bought, or you're playing emulated games of an older console, especially in the cases where those older games on those older consoles are no longer in production anymore and cost absurd amounts to buy a copy off eBay. So in my opinion, the easiest way to stop piracy, Nintendo, is to stop putting anti-piracy technology and contacting the FBI like a bunch of is by giving those people a service that's better than the ones they're receiving from the pirates. In Nintendo's case though, where you don't even own the games, you don't even own the hardware, you quote own the license to play them. So in that case, I think if somebody said that piracy was a moral stance for Nintendo and no longer a gray area, I would actually agree. Because it blows my mind that you could buy a game and not even own it. You can buy hardware for $500 and not even own it. And I know Nintendo's idea is to make it as inconvenient enough that normal people won't resort to it. But the thing is, emulation will never be defeated. But the FBI will do literally anything except for releasing the island visitor list. Because the entire federal government is probably on the list, every single one of them. It's not capitalism versus socialism. It's not left versus right. It's elitism versus the rest of us plebs. People still think, I'm talking about in here, people are still thinking that this is a Democrat versus Republican thing. And for those people, there's no hope. And you know what? I'd be questioning is even dead. I mean, imagine if he just showed up alive tomorrow. He's probably chilling in Israel or something. I mean, last month they were like, we're releasing the files, and last week they're like, hold on a second, there's no files. And this week they're like, are you still talking about the files? Shut up. And then next week they're like, oh my god, what files? By the way, this guy Kash Patel, every picture that I see of him, he looks like a serious deer in headlights. He's got that look to him. He looks like he just seen a ghost. Are you okay, buddy? See, the thing is, we need a real hero, a real whistleblower within the US government. See, the things get leaked all the time. America wants answers. The whole world wants answers, not cover-ups. The Pat Bundys, the Kash Patel, all these people bungled it so bad. They'll find a scapegoat and then somebody will be assigned in that same position and do exactly as they're told. There's not going to be a single list that comes out and then everybody will forget about this within the month. Anyway, let's get back on topic. My stance when it comes to AAA game developers is that you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to boycott all of them. Until we can fix the buying the license to play issues, my wallet is going to stay closed. Because I think the car analogy works just fine. If you paid in full for a car, then as long as you are within the safety laws, then you can modify your car however you like. And on that bombshell, let me know what you think. Post in the comments what your whole idea is of this whole disaster that's going on. I'll be very eager to see your whole opinion on the corruption. Manix out.